Welcome back to the stream, and if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome back. Um, just wanted to say that this is right after I recorded the last one, so I couldn't read any of the comments if you've left any. So yeah, let's continue. So yeah, no, this game is like probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite game ever. This this is just a perfect representation of what an assassin game can be, and I'm in love with this game. Ugh, whale meat.
This is the Hound Pits
Whoa.
Pub. Closed for business.
I forgot how
after
large
the
this thing
prisoner
is.
walked off as dead from the plague. We're right under the Lord Regent's nose, and he don't know a thing.
It's a good thing.
Of course, if anyone finds out what we're up to, the Watch will break in with swords drawn. And now that you've escaped, the Lord Regent's going to be tearing the city apart. Take you up to meet Admiral Havelock and the rest of the Royalists. The Admiral's a man to be reckoned with. If anyone can help you find that missing girl, Lady
It's me.
Emily, and clear your name, he can.
Samuel, I think your boat just glitched out a lot. I just thought I should let you know that. Let's see. Excerpt from the book on the far continent Pandysia. On the far continent. At the Academy of Natural Philosophy, they seek of the Pandysian continent as a place of wonder, where all life has entwined and blossomed across eons? I think it's eons. Producing a vibrant ecology rivaled in the civilized world. The overseers from the Abbey of the Everyman, by contrast, talk of horrors and heresies, of cult of sub-men engaged in brutal, perverse rituals. The few who have traveled to the far continent and have and come back to the Isles, those men have actually touched the soil there, have returned with notes that describe vast deserts, deep jungles, and outlandish creatures that defy belief. Once in a generation, a great effort is mounted to build a colony there in hopes of this someday growing into a part of a city to rival Dunwall itself. But today, these attempts have been ended in madness and failure. Oh, neat, impressive. They thought that they could control the natural resources of an area yet untouched by man. Or, well, touched by civilized man, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
So it's starting at last, Admiral. We found our man.
We can continue this later, Lord Pendleton. The man of the hour is here. Corvo, I'm Admiral Havelock. A true servant of the Empire, like you. Until the Lord Regent purged those of us who wouldn't recognize his claim on the throne.
And I'm Lord Trevor Pendleton. I represent the nobility in our little group. But we all act as equals here at the Hound Pits Pub.
This is a momentous occasion, Corvo. I'm
Oh,
to
that
come
beer
out.
looked good.
We've been building a coalition of loyalists, aimed at ending the Lord Regent's tyranny and restoring the throne.
At risk of execution, we're committed to finding young Lady Emily and seeing her crowned as Empress.
We've got big plans, but we can't do any of it without you. We need your skills, your ability in a fight, and in helping us, we're going to help you destroy the men who murdered the Empress.
Sorry, you must be exhausted. We can discuss this further after you've recovered. But before you retire, you should introduce yourself to Piero. He's challenging at times, but his industrious mind buys him that right.
You know, I think he's the nicest out of the little... If you haven't played this game,
He's going to be crafty.
like, what have you been doing with your life?
Go talk to him, and then get some sleep. We can talk more when you've rested.
Of siege has increased. The Lord Regent has decreed that plague ordinances will remain in effect through the month of rain. Stay alert and stay loyal.
Yeah, I played this game a lot. Oh. jump! Let's see what else we can't find.
Pleased to meet you, Master Corvo. I saw you at court in happier days, but you might not remember. I was once a close ally to the Lord Regent, Hiram Burroughs, back when he was just the spy master. He's one manipulative bastard, I can tell you that.
Yes.
My furnishings have been installed at last with no small amount of complaining by that antiquated boatman. The others have no idea what it's like to suffer as I have. Speaking of which, Wallace, please breathe 2 bottles of Dunwall Red, never mind which. Fetch a clean glass. Well, I'll begin again tomorrow.
Oh. He's used to the rich life and having to move into what we, what we are.
If
Wallace.
I may, I am the personal assistant to Lord Pendleton, and one of the senior servants at Pendleton House, as was my father. Now I am entrusted with this house, the home of the Loyalists. I have never seen the Admiral fail at any venture. If order can be restored to the city of Dunwall, I believe he can do it. If anyone can get your old life back, it's him.
Oh, thank you. I am a stuck-up rich guy who just
Traffic is forbidden
yeah.
from landing in the distillery.
Excerpt from a book of the sea shanty sung by sailors. What we will do with the drunken whaler, what we will do with the drunken whaler, what we will do with the drunken whaler early in the morning. Feed him to the hunger rats for dinner, feed him to the hunger rats for dinner, feed him to the hunger rats for dinner early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, early in the morning. Slice his throat and with a rusty cleaver, slice his throat with a rusty cleaver, slice his throat with a rusty cleaver, early in the morning. Stuff him in a second, throw him over, stuff him in a second, throw him over, stuff him in a second, throw him over, early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, early in the morning. Harpooner songs.
Due to risk of
Wasn't that
infectious
pleasant?
contact, violators will be taken to the flooded district for
Oh, it's a
treatment
pair.
and
What's this one? Excerpt from a series of overseer invocations by High Overseer Adam Templeton. And I say to you, brothers, it is here that we make our stand as righteous forces against the growing darkness. It is here that we unite against the spirit of the unknown that will drag us screaming into the night, never to return to our homes, to our families. Together we will serve as a road to those who would stray from the herd. For the foggy gray wastes of the outsider, we will burn a bright fire with the vicious actions so that others will not lose their way. And to those who choose to wander beyond the walls of our homes in a fair place, we will strike at them swiftly before they whisper to their neighbors, filling their hearts with strangeness and doubt. Nice. That sounds like a cult. I mean, it is a cult. It's very clearly a cult. Oh, more books. Actually, from a long work of fiction. Letting my way be the feeble light of the dying fire, I saw her working. A large needle moved in her hand, flowing precise, esoteric patterns, knots and loops of seamstress craft from ancient days. Beneath her needle, his body clenched and shuddered, shaking the wooden table. A morbid fascination pushed me closer, until she turned her blank face towards me, resting the needle in his flesh. With a refined tone, she addressed, So you are the lover, I presume. You too have been unfaithful, and it is now your turn to be mended. Oh, no, please don't take off his genitalia. The young Prince of Tivia. Excerpt from a theatre play. Lord Nightingale, shaking with outrage. How dare you, sir? Clothed so in my very home. I should hand you over to the watch. Deprived. Tivian. Prince Cashier moving closer. That's a harsh welcome for royalty, me lord. The daughter treated me with much more hospitality. Alas, she has gone out for the evening, leaving me all alone. Lord Nathan Bale, stammering, studying the younger man before him. What are you doing? Leave this house! Go back to your frozen wasteland, pale rascal! Prince Costinier, smiling coldly, reaching out. No need for anger between us, Lord Bale. It is so wrong for me to be here. Is it so wrong for me to be here? As I've proven, I've developed an affinity for you and your family. Lord Nathan Bale, gasping. Oh my, Cassia! Your skin is so warm, it burns. Oh, another bug. Oh wow, this one's a long one. Alright. A Draft's Tale, Volume 2. Excerpt from the Travel Journal of a Whaler in His Final Years. A Graph Tale, Volume 2, a Graphist's Final Passage. After more than a quarter of a century, I'm done with whaling. Too broken to continue. I've seen all the corners of the Isles, and made more coin than most men see in a lifetime. But it's all gone. I've lived through an emperor and watched his daughter take the throne. Very young empress she was, but slain so young. Everything beautiful comes to die. I've eaten in every port of the known world and sailed in the loneliest waters you could imagine. I've seen the cliffs around Pandysia. Even the best of it doesn't give me an ounce of joy. The years come back across my dreams as a line of butchered bodies, long, sleek, and singing among the waves under the moonlight, only to be speared by ugly, weathered, scarred men who'd knife each other for a good pair of boots. Each year, I had less time to come home. My tongue forgot the language of small chatter, and those who lived in cities thought me old. My sister, Nanya, hardly knew what to say to me during our visits. When she lost her business to the Lord Regent's crooked Braster, I was 100 miles east of Morley, gaff hand frozen from the sleet as we tracked the first bull whale we'd seen in months. I helped her as much as I could, but Nina died in the early days of the plague. None of it mattered. If I'm jaded and bitter, it's because this industry has taken away my dreams, and the world has beaten me. That one was sad. The other one seemed nicer. I mean, that was a good, jab. Wounds? No wounds. It's down here. It's right here. Wounds! Cool. Oh, there's another one. It's up there. Sorry guys that it's been mostly reading, but I like the lore of Dishonored, and I never really gave it a chance to read, so that was a fail. Slide in.
I'll be crafting your weapons and gear, all custom work. For you, I will create the tools of the master assassin. No! This cannot happen now. The tank of whale oil's run out. Will you get a new tank from upstairs, please, while I hold this in place? Careful. Oil too unstable. When it explodes, there is a terrible mess.
Sokolov no longer has the upper hand with regard to supplies of whale oil. The good Admiral has paid for the installation of my own system, which will enable me to work in this place. The oil tank dispenser, when activated, will produce an empty vessel for filling. When the empty tank is held near the oil tank refuel pump, the magnetic attractor should take the tank and lock it in the correct configuration. Using the lever will begin the refueling process. Once refilling is completed, the tank can be removed and placed in service. Extreme caution must be used when handling the full tanks. They are quite unstable. The system is sound and well engineered. It appears that the Greaves Oil Company has done something correctly for once. Oh, neat. Excerpt from The Founder of the Greaves Whale House by Ebenezer Greaves. Out at sea, they secure the beast with hooks, with the line cast in the main ship from several smaller boats. Buoys keep the whale from diving deep once it's caught. A larger hook is driven through the tail, which is used to hoist the creature up through the chute. They moan and bellow for some time as the men get them onto the deck, then lift them into the scaffolding overhead. The ship adjusts its prow and returns to the port in Dunwall, where the crew works on the great creature, slicing off the fattest parts while it still lives. Oh, you pricks. Like, I get it. You know, society's needed something to do. Wow, this guy has got a lot of books. I think. Okay. I'm gonna set this down. Another book. Excerpt from the note, whale vivisection. Oh, great. Excerpt from the notes of a natural philosopher aboard a whaling ship. Remarkably, each specimen I've had the pleasure of studying during the voyage possessed to be some minor variance in philosophy. On the second leg of the trip, east of Tivia, the crew hauled aboard a female, some 42 feet in length. I estimate she weighed 35 tons, and that the ship sat low, rocking side to side through the night with her thrashing. By candlelight, I took her apart, sketched and taking notes against her bellowing. I cut into the mass of tentacles around her mouth. Within, I found a row upon row of teeth, and bladed running along the upper jaw. Through this broom-like structure, I assumed she filtered food from the water that was too small to be chewed. Ah, neat development in stuff that you hear. 2 more books. Excerpt, Failed Experiments. Excerpt from the Natural Philosophy by Piero Joplin. Oh, it's Piero. Of course I have attempted to improve upon Sokolov's design. Of course, and why not? After all, it is likely that his thinking was influenced in some small way by our time together at the Academy. We are all a part of a community, striving to unknot the mysteries of the cosmos. Even those among us who possess the greater minds have often led to a fruitful line of consideration by how does one say it, or our intellectual subordinates. Sokolov is no exception to this, despite the glamour of genius that he has cast over the aristocracy. And further, it is true that many of my experiments have failed. No need to gossip about it behind my back in your social clubs and in the various chambers of the Academy itself. Great ambition requires risks. You may laugh now at my door to nowhere, but some day you will not. Your children will likely see it as commonly as you see the electric lamps lighting our streets at night. But a few short years ago, you would have laughed at Sokolov's arc pylon or wall of light. Your laughter, your condensed smiles, they are nothing but evidence of your own limited imagination. Dead Counter Responsibilities. Excerpt from a manual on a new city watch procedure. Commissioned by the Lord Regent in the face of the growing plague crisis, the dead counter is a position that will only be given to the officers, usually of junior or middle grades, in most matters or edict or curfew enforcement. These officers will defer to the acting officers on duty. However, any dead counter will have command in situations related to the plague and handling off the dead, including those with late-stage plague systems called weepers in common parlance. Starting in the month of rain, interested officers may apply for the test, and if accepted for the 2 weeks training tour, pay will be administered in coin and rations of elixir at 1.5 normal pay grade. 1 1/2. Oh wow, they get half more. All right, now let's continue. Come on. I'm running.
Perfect. Now plug it in. Perfect. Thank you, Carl. Here, see? The assassin's mask. You're a wanted man, so everyone in the city knows your face, but this mask will mean terror to them. If you just hold still, fit must be precise. There. Can you see normally? Lens out of alignment. There. Better now? I could create more for you. Upgrades for your gear, weapons, munitions. But our situation here is desperate. Scavenge the city for valuables, and I will resell them on the black market. That should give us the money to craft the things you need. Tell me what I can make for you.
Okay, well, let's see. Yes, let's have a look. Okay, but let's look at upgrades. So, I'm gonna take optics. Let's purchase a normal crossbow, some bullets, Like, one rewire tool. Cool.
You must be exhausted. I advise that you get some sleep. Your life will get even more difficult soon. You should rest while you can. Very well. You know best. Let me know if you need anything more.
Thank you, Piero. You nice, kind fellow. Excuse me. There, I'll be taking that 75 coin. Oh, Piero's request is denied. Piero, no one will not sign off on these purchases. A bag of powdered crystal, Tivian ore? What's wrong with the metals in Gristal? The King Sparrow feathers? If you need feathers, sacrifice your own pillow. Maybe at the academy everything you needed was paid for by tariff and handed out willy-nilly, but this is my bar, or what's left of it. And we're operating on a budget. We're running low on oil, food, elixir, building materials, and everything else, so you've got to slow down. While I'm footing the bill, I will not approve your purchases unless they are absolutely required. No more copper wire or special herbs. If you need any of those things, go out and scavenge them. Half the city's in ruins, so no one is going to miss any of the old crap you seem to need. Admiral Havelock. Oh, the book! Oh, shit. Okay. A second solution. It is through no fault of my own that the average citizen has expressed a preference for Sokolov's elixir over my own formula, sold as Piero's remedy. A name I did not choose, if you must know the truth. The public has spoken its usual message of idiocy, spending their coin as a means of selecting Sokolov's formula over mine, which I believe to be equal, if not superior. Much has been made over the popularity of these actions. I don't know how to say that word. As means of resisting the remarkable new plague, I say remarkable because this strain works with an efficiency we have not seen in the history of the Empire. This plague, now making its way through the city of Dunwall, is irraveled in the effectiveness. I should have studied it with the blood of those afflicted, and it is nearly perfect, elegant, in fact. And while it is true that Piero's remedy and Sokolov's elixir are known to protect the body against the plague equally, my own has properties not fully understood, which relate to the mind itself and the spirit, and it is with the way that my formula wins out. Here is where one should pay attention to this contest. You see, Sokolov's elixir, with the emphasis on the brute animal body, is a crash goo better suited for livestock, and the suitable secret variances in ingredients. The key ingredient making up Piero's remedy ensures that it works on a higher function that separate humankind from the mindless blue-jawed hagfish swimming in the Warnhaver River. Oh, he's calling he's calling him out. Let's see if he can't make me anything more. Piero, come here for a second.
Tell me what I can make for you.
Looks so irritated at me. Any upgrades? No? Okay, then let's just get nothing. See my mums. Oh, there's a coin.
Do not attempt to house or care for
I found a coin.
or family member who shows signs of blood on their face and chest area. The only way to help them is to bring them to the city watch. They will
Yes,
be taken to
very
the
much
flooded
so, but no need
district
to
for
fear.
treatment.
He is here to work with our masters.
People say he killed the Empress.
Of course he didn't. People are foolish and believe whatever they're told.
Okay. If the Admiral trusts him, then so will I. The Admiral served in the Navy under the Empress. But something happened with the Lord Regent that drove the Admiral out. If I understand it right.
I had a breakup. Somewhere else. A well-timed. Okay. Oh, geez, what happened? Okay. It's raining out. Oh, it's a...
Hello, Corvo. Your life has taken a turn, has it not? The Empress is dead. Her precious daughter Emily is lost somewhere in the city, and you will play a pivotal role in the days to come. For this, I have chosen you and drawn you into the void. I am the outsider, and this is my mark. There are forces in the world and beyond the world, great forces that many call magic. And now, these forces will serve your will. Use this newfound power, my gift to you. Come find me.
You cannot save her, 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 you cannot save her. Oh. Pure spiritual remedy. That's the thing that we were just talking about. Oh, it makes sense. I just thought it was the blue one for like the longest time. Corvo, I am very sad. They say that you were dead like mother, but I'm not going to put, but I'm gonna put this bottle and throw it in the river because I do not believe them. Living here is very strange. I do not like it, so please come for me if you can. All these are the other Pendleton brothers. Oh yeah, that's right. She's in a whorehouse apparently. Some more Piero's remedy. Oh, oh, oh. Wow. It just, I forget, like, I usually just rush through these. But, like, I miss just taking it in. You know?
In the days that follow, your trials will be great, Corvo. Seek the ancient runes bearing my mark in the lonely places of your world, and at shrines raised in my name. These runes will grant you powers beyond those of other men. To help you find these runes, I give you this, the heart of a living thing, molded by my hands. With this heart, you will hear many secrets, and it will guide you toward my runes, no matter how they may be hidden. Listen to the heart now, and find another rune.
This place is the end of all things, and all of time's meaningless here. Neither seconds nor centuries.
Oh.
Someday this place will devour all the lights in the sky. The one who walks here is all things. Cradle songs of comfort and bones gnawed by teeth. This is the place from which those who dabble in black arts draw their power. And this place is their doom. I can feel the great age ending. This place is the end of all things, and the beginning. All of time's meaningless. Neither seconds nor centuries.
That's Jessamine's heart. That's the Empress's heart. They're so much bigger in the second game. one rune. I mean, vitality's nice, but being able to see things in the darkness is quite nice because that could get you. Oh, dude, look. I have so. Oh. Alright, so.
How you use what I have given you falls upon you, as it has to the others before you. And now I return you to your world, but know that I will be watching with great interest.
Oh, continue now.
A reminder to all citizens. Inspect your neighbor's faces closely. If there is any sign of problems or changes, you must notify one of the city watch.
Oh, shit. There's a lot. Okay. Fuck. Rumors and sightings Dowd. Oh, shit. This was the beginning? Except from an overseer. For over a year now, I have lived away from the Abbey without the company of my overseer brethren and the guidance of the built sisters of the Ocular Order. Days have passed with me sleeping in the dens of a cult of cut purses, murderers, and whores, and the nights have seen me prowling through the worst alleys and wretched corners of Dunwall. I have taken my meals. I have taken my meals with killers, and at times I have ventured beyond the city walls, meeting in forgotten graveyards at the outlying ruins, frequently by those of ill means. My beard has grown long, and I wear the weathered clothing and bits of boiled leather favored by the Bottle Street and Hatter gangs, and by those rough men and women who have made their have traded knifing others in return for coin. My hands have run red with blood, it's true, but I've selected my targets with care, choosing among those criminals and with heretics who are not fit to live, executing them justly with their and using their deaths as a means of building my reputation. So for this trick has allowed me to make my name among the murderers' colleagues without taking lives of the innocent. My goal is singular. I must impress the assassin named Dowd in order to get close to him. All of the other practitioners of black magic we have tracked, none can serve the Abbey as much as Dowd, and it is said that his mother was a witch from one of the archipelago of the Pandicium coast, taken captive by pirates venturing from the Isles. According to legend, by the time the ship returned, the captain was dead and the witch controlled the crew, with Dowd still a shadow in her belly. The earliest stories tell of a gang killer without mercy moving along the shopkeepers and city watch officers of Dunwall like a reader through wheat. Then a period of silence followed. Years were now believed he spent traveling the Isles, studying anatomy and the occult with the great halls and learning of the hidden basements frequented by fellow dabblers in the forbidden arts. Dowd is even purported to have sent a writer an Academy of Natural Philosophy itself for a time before a schism developed. He counted the Brigmore witches among his allies, all while he honed his craft, and during this time that he had begun to consort with the outsider. New reports emerged of a dusky-skinned assassin paid by the elite to eliminate their rivals in Dunwall and other major cities across the Isles. Those who saw him and lived numbered in the handful, but all of them reported something strange and have appeared and vanished like smoke from the nearby rooftops. He gestured, and a noble woman stumbled from her balcony, falling to her doom in the cobblestones below. Most recently, as this new threat of the plague has risen in Dunwall, Dowd has been seen leading a gang of men in dark leather, dressed as factory whalers in their vapor masks. They seem loyal beyond comprehension, for once so unworthy, leading me to wonder if some of his magic is dedicated to lulling their minds, enslaving them. Only a month ago, one girl has claims to have come upon a strange scene. Carrying a bottle of milk home to her crippled brother, she was taking a shortcut through the tailor's district in a narrow street. She passed beneath a window and heard unusual sounds from within. Pushing aside that ratty curtain, the girl saw into an abandoned apartment used by miscreants for gambling and trading Hadler weed in a cult shrine that had been erected against the far wall, which she recognized from the teachings given by her local overseer. A man she described as resembling Dowd was kneeling before the shrine, muttering to an unseen spirit as if in argument. He took a carving made of a pale bone from the altar before him, and the lights all went out in a gush of unclean wind. Quiet as a field mouse, she slipped away, running until she reached her home. There can be no doubt. Doubt is an agent of the outsider and must die. Therefore, for there is no limit to the evil this man might do. This may be solemn oath to the great purpose of my life until Dowd is dead and his corruption has been purged from the world. I continue to move along the deprived, winding my way toward him. I will not drop my guise or don my overseer's mask again until Dowd breeds no more. Oh, book. I don't want to read it, but I'm going to because it's been my thing. There's so much. Field survey notes, the royal spy. It's the 4th day. It's the 4th day, month of high cold. Progress continues in the suppression of a gang activity in the distillery district. But more slowly than I expected. The ruffians operating have been cunning. I grant them that, but it's only a matter of time. I see their leaders flagged in public and sent beneath the royal executioner's table. If I had my way, that mute bastard would be working night and day, removing the heads that need removing. Internally, the Empress does not seem pleased with my investigations. It seems that is beyond her thinking, against her very nature as a trusting person to believe that traitors move among us. But I know that they do. They must. No, Jessamine would rather spend her time with a royal protector. At least he's likely to stop any immediate threat to her safety. But a strong arm, what needed against those who would undermine us? How will Corvo's sword stop a poisoned wine glass and an explosive delivered by courier? It will not. There are many threats around us. These threats requiring malicious efforts or meticulous efforts to police. Young Lady Emily is undisciplined, I'm afraid. Here within Dunwall Tower, she receives instruction from the finest tutors known to the Isles. Yet her mother spoils her, and she spends most of her time lost in imagination, wasting her time drawing or asking Corvo to teach her how to fight with wooden sticks. The girl might rule the Empire someday. Every moment spent at play is a moment wasted. Shut up, man. This guy does not know what he's talking about. Shoring up security for the main gate leading into Dunwall had been another pet project of late. To think that back in this day, Emperor Caldwin left it open to public during the day, allowing anyone to come and go as they pleased. And if it were up to me, I'd seal off access to the streets entirely. But the Empress won't hear of it. The water lock is much easier to protect, and if it were the only way into the tower, traffic in and out would be greatly reduced. Someday the wrong person is going to ship in, and will suffer for it. Mark my words, no amount of security is excessive when it comes to protecting heads of state. The Empress also disapproves of my plans for the Sokolov's devices. Sokolov himself has no interest in security, of course, but he is vain and therefore keen to see his inventions deployed in any fashion. This wall of light he's been tinkering with has promise in any case. At least I was able to convince the Empress to upgrade the pistols carried by the officers of the watch. Why do I worry so? When no one else seems to care. Even if I ever fall asleep, will it all sinks into the ocean? Will the rough things climb over the walls and fill them on our flesh? This is what it seems to dream. This is what I seem to dream several times each month. If only I had more say in things, more authority, I could protect us. Perhaps I have been working too hard. Dinner and an evening conversation with a certain lady of refinement might be in order. Perhaps somewhere nice in a state district. Wilhelm Burroughs, Royal Spy Master. God, he is just a terrible person. Oh, another book. Oh, another book. Oh, another book. Oh my god, there's so much book. Holy crap. Okay, well, I definitely know what I'm labeling this video. The books. No, the books. Alright. Excerpt from a series of letters sent by a member of the Bottle Street Gang. You want the Shinwang of Slackjaw? What he was like when he was young, before he got his name? Oh, he's got a cool head now. But it weren't always like that in the days before he was the boss of the Bottle Street Gang. Time was, young Slackjaw wasn't such a reasonable man. Like most of us, he grew up on the streets, running with a pack of ragamuffins to avoiding the low pincher whatever he needed. Dark-haired and dark-eyed, smoking a pipe by the age of 10. For them born in the brothels or coming from an orphanage, it was either the gangs or working, which the mudlarks, and no one wants that. Some get pressed into the Navy or put down in the mines run by the Pendleton or Boyle families. As hard as it was on the streets, as hungry as we all got, at least we was free. By the time we weren't little uns anymore, Slackjaw was one to watch. Usually calling the shots when we took down a farmer's cart or sidewalk street vendor. He'd come up with a plan, give everyone some part to play. They decided on the split. Most of us went along because we learned fast that we made out better like that. More food, more coin. Plus, none of us wanted to deal with Slackjaw when he was in a rage. He worked on a couple of big jobs with Black Sally across town, and that was enough to get the attention of the other bosses. He wasn't just a street kid anymore. No, he was an up-and-comer, which meant trouble. Another guy who fancied himself as such, like Mike the Fish, who was working his way up running the protection racket among the factory women. One fine evening, we're all talking in a body show in the theater house. Mike the Fish and his lot are at the cheap seats too, just down the aisle from us. Mike gets into a wild idea. He wasn't big on planning, and he throws a heavy cinematic spitting at Slackjaw, hits him square in the face, and breaks his jaw. We took to see if there was going to be a blood brawl. Well, Slackjaw just points at the door, and we all leave, and Mike laughing at our backs. Waking up the next day without telling us, Slackjaw motions for us all to follow. He still can't say a word, so we just come along. We stop at the dock, and Slackjaw pays coin for it. A heavy chain covered in hooks. It's for fishing in the deep, something you'd attach to a long life to see of the side of a ship. It's about 4 feet, made of thick links, and there are shark hooks coming off of different. Slackjaw got out that thing wrapped around his left arm, dangling at his side. Not sure how he knew where Mike the Fisher was staying, but when we reached his girl's house, Slackjaw threw a bottle through the window just like that. It's almost noon. There's a bunch of screaming inside, and Mike pokes his head out, looks wide-eyed and baffled. When he sees Slackjaw on the street, a look comes over his face that still gives me the willies. Pure murder. Mike comes out on the side, bellowing like a blood ox. Wow, this is actually interesting. Holding a cleaver, heading straight for Slackjaw. And when he comes together in the seat, Slackjaw spins the shark hook, bite deep into Mike's arm and shoulder. He screams. Slackjaw holds onto the chain. He's standing there with his jaw broken, clenched tight, with the chain wrapped around his left arm. Hook sunk into Mike the Fish, just knifing him as fast as he can. Mike couldn't fight very well, hooked like that, and with using his left hand, and he was a big guy, and it took a lot of stabbing before he went on his knees. Everyone was cheering at first, but then we all went quiet. Just kept going and going until finally it was just Mike the Fish blubbering, crying like a baby, and sound of Slackjaw's knife. When it was over, and here's the brilliant part, Slackjaw took out a note and stuck to Mikey's face with a nail and just said, "If you want a job, come to the Bottle Streets." Slackjaw didn't talk right for a couple of months, but word spread fast. By the end of the year, once we had a sizable gang going, he sent out letters to each other bosses telling them that he was running a brand new crew over Bottle Street. Most of them laughed or beat up the guys who delivered the letters. Green-eyed Trish even came back missing a thumb, but apparently Slackjaw was expecting that kind of reaction and had a backup plan. A week later, 4 of those bosses were dead. Seemed like a series of unfortunate events, but everyone knew better. One shot dead by the watch while standing in the middle of a meat market, another slipping and falling into the water out cold. One of the other bosses found in bed with his belly opened wide as a Tivian pear stuffed into his mouth. Still not sure what that meant, and Sheila's Bronzewith was found bubbling in a corridor of hot and wax. Slackjaw sent out another set of letters, offers to the underbosses, telling them that they'd treat fair as peers. Even sent Green-eyed Trish one of the letter. Even sent Green-eyed Trish with one of the letters. All of the underbosses accepted. After spilling the guts of his main commissioner, Slackjaw went for the stabilizing his business, real neat like, calling in favors, smoothing things over, getting everyone a little bit of coin or drinks as a bonus, showing what he could be like as a boss. So everything got quiet, which always makes the boy of the city watch nervous, of course. Word went out among the royal spy master snitches and reasonable citizens group they called themselves, telling everyone working in a shop or swearing off in front of the steps to keep watchful eyes on Slackjaw and his men, trying to suss out what they were up to, and just happened. But Slackjaw ain't stupid. He greased a few palms among the shopkeepers and the watch too, telling them that he was in town to stay and that things would be run properly from now on. Without so much blood, he was finally a real boss, ready to settle into business of moving whiskey, running the hound fights, and offering up the ladies and gentlemen of the night if you take my meaning. Then the plague come. At first it seemed like a good thing. A few people got sick and everyone wanted to buy those potions. For Sokolov or Piero, health elixir or spiritual remedy they call them, Slackjaw told me he saw an opportunity. We already had an old whiskey factory with a still where we could water the stuff down and sell it discount. Doing the same with Sokolov's elixir was a smart plan. Pretty soon everybody in the slums was sick and business was good. But after a while, there were so many people down with the plague that everyone got scared. Everybody started acting real nasty and everything fell apart. But when people can't work, they don't have the coin for elixir, watered down or pure. When the Empress died, it seemed like Dunball would slide into the void. Spymaster Burroughs took over, and the Watch started using all that new Sokolov technology, watchtowers, tall boys, and them arc pylons. But they put up a wall of light across Clavering Boulevard and cracked down hard. But Slackjaw surprised us again. Instead of leaving town on a boat bound for Morley or one of the other isles, he stayed and kept it all together. We get as much elixir to fight off the plague as the City Watch with their taxes and rations. That keeps us alive so far. Crowley, Potter Street Gang. Wow. Oh, another book. Oh, you can hear the discomfort. Journals of Granny Rags. Of course I'd tell you, dearie. I won't keep any secrets from you in the end. All the dreary days of my life, like the windows of a house from the kitchen, I can see out into the garden where the leaves and stalks are brown and bug-eaten. You can see a little lump of dirt where something was wrapped in a blanket and laid to rest among the rusting, twisting vines. In the front room, out into the streets, when the neighbors are all settling fires to their homes, barricading themselves inside, warm and snug, dearie. Don't forget about the bedroom either. It seems into a dreary alley where hooligans are playing a game with an old man. The first two are hitting him with sticks, and the girl with them is kicking at his dry old ribs. Oh, to have those bones to boil them into a pot. No one lives in my house anymore, dearie. No one you'd want to meet. When I lived there with my husband, we were fine people. Very merry. Everyone would say your house is as grand as the Boyle Manor. Better even. Your dinners are lavish and your parties are the best. When that young Sokolov come to paint my portrait, I nearly still my prime. Radiant, he said that he was barely a man so young, putting all the best people across the land. Everyone wanted a portrait by his hand. All my friends, I was the only one, dearie. Wet with his paint, glistening at the canvas of a pretty coin. But it wasn't all parties and paintings. My husband and I were always at home. No, we traveled together, he and I, to the far ends of the Isles, beyond even all the way to the red cliffs of Pandysia, to dig into the rock and crawl through the caves, holding up candles and squinting at the walls. Many precious things we come upon, but none so precious as the boy with the black eyes, dearie. All those marks and bones carved so deep and polished so bright. I brought the old bones home, hid them from my dear husband. Then I learned to boil them and carve them myself. They made such good presents, dearie. The little mute boy took them home. He loved them so. All the time he came back with new bones for me, holding them up so I can see it in his eyes. Even though his tongue was still, Granny, his eyes would stay to me. Carve these bones for me. Make me another present. And he went so far, all the way to Dunwall Tower, the royal headsman himself now, my little mute boy and his shiny, shiny sword. Better bones were not what I needed, you see. Better bones to carve and polish, scrope and gleam. My old dear husband was always tired. I made him soup and then he was sick. Better bones for all. But my little mute boy carved in the name of the one with the black eyes, and after my husband was gone, given away as birthday gifts. I didn't want to live there anymore. So now I am old and I don't have many to give my presents to. It's sifting through the garbage of granny rags and feeding the little birdies that gather at my feet. No one wants to have tea, dearie, especially those rude louts of Bottle Streets. Slackjaw and his boys, always meeting with an old woman just trying to make her way. In the end, we'll be together with him, you and me, in a dreary right, with stars above and below, and always the one with the black eyes, dearie. I like Granny Rex. Okay, cool. I was like, I saw that, I was like, no, not another book. Alright, so let's...
Violators will be taken to the flooded treatment and rehabilitation.
Call to the Spheres, Volume 1. Excerpt from a work of fiction, early chapters. My stomach twisted with the engineers of the old vessel roared louder. It was an ascertain of the Orchado, third perfect form of the Academy of Natural Philosophy. It was extinguished, savoring each of the small crafts, undulations. Orchado pulled a lever, and with great grout of smoke surrounded us. The smell of burning whale oil grew unbearable as the machine propelled itself upward. It was too adrift to look through the window, which suddenly didn't feel thick enough, as if, knowing my thoughts, Overseer Bryn looked at me and smiled. Recite some of the litany, my pupil. It will protect your heart from the tiptude of the void on our way to the outer spheres.
Elementary sums. History of the Isles. Geography of the Isles. The Seven Strictures. Litany of the White Cliff. Sayings of the Overseer. One day we'll get a few new books.
More books, more books. The Fuig Feast. At the end of the year, after the last day of the month of song, we began at the Fuig's Fest. The new year has not started, and thus the time that follows the outside of the calendar, a period of celebration and feasting begins, during which the people abund the varied practices that keep them whole and healthy over the year. Many leave their homes euphoric with spirits of potent herbs. Some point their faces of wear masks and conceal themselves as they pursue the passions without restraint. When the right cosmological signs are observant and it is time for the calendar to begin anew, the Siding High Overseer calls for the hymn of atonement, and the fugue feast ends. Families return to their homes, wives and their husbands, enemies put down their weapons, and fires are extinguished. No complaint is given for those who have wronged others, deactivated from the ancient code and discarded oaths for the time during the astrological alignment does not exist and is not recorded. Following day starts a new year, marked on the first day of the month of Earth, as it has always been. One more book. One more goddamn book. The Trials of Aptitude. Exit from a book on the esoteric places of the Abbey. Once a child shows the proper inclination, he is marked. Overseers are assigned with the study of subject, surreptitiously, in order to determine whether this inclination is supported by the cosmological conditions and other signs ongoing throughout the year. At the end of the cycle, those befitting further testings are removed from their homes some hours before dawn and must begin the march of an outpost outside the city. There, the children undergo ritual preparation and evaluation until the last night of the month of rain, when they make a pilgrimage to Whitecliff. During an elaborate ceremony, it is determined which of the children will be overseers and which will be put down. Oh, it's that other one again. Alright. So I'm very sorry that there's just been so many books, but I've never really read never read the books. So this is gonna be a very long episode, and I might cut it down into. Well, I can't yet because I don't have any of the ability to yet. I don't have anything to cut it up and do stuff with that. We'll go seek Admiral Havelock in a second.
Well, let's get down to it.
Oh.
First off, I know that assassination is bad business, but sometimes good men have to do bad things to make the world right. Our purpose is clear. We want to restore Her Majesty's line by finding and putting Emily Caldwin on the throne. To those ends, we'll hide, act in shadow, take them apart, piece by piece. Tonight, High Overseer Campbell dies by your hand. It won't be easy. He's protected by his overseers, an army of religious zealots. But if anyone can do it, you can. Your exploits are legendary. Campbell carries a private journal. Once you've eliminated him, get the journal, because we think it contains Emily's location. Recovering her is obviously critical, assuming she's alive. That's the gist of it. Remember our cause and strike true. We're counting on you. Another thing. Campbell is holding a former overseer by the name of Martin. He's one of us, and if you manage to find him, give him whatever help you can. He's a master strategist, and he got caught working for our cause. It'd be good to have him back here at the Hound Pits.
Corvo. Hello. I'm Callista. I work here for Admiral Havelock. I'm sorry to intrude on your business, but this is important. I suspect you're going to kill the High Overseer. That wretched man. There's really no reason for you to listen to me. But my uncle, Jeff Kernow, still serves as captain of the City Watch. But he's a good man, and my only family. The chatter in servant circles is that Campbell just took delivery of an exotic poison. And I think I know why. My uncle's not corruptible like the rest of them. Campbell is going to poison my uncle. Do you think you could protect him? You used to do that, right? Before you had your current profession. Before you became an assassin.
I will. I will protect her. The door to nowhere has proven as a safety hazard, but for me, this project is an endless source of inspiration. With the proper application of engineers, I believe I can transfer the door frame into a window of sorts. One that will allow traveler to become the distance of my workshop to some distant, arbitrarily point in a single step. Currently, this step leads to a sheer drop, straight down to the courtyard. But as time, my bridge that will boggle the mind. Such work in many years away. But to be sure, I will survive this plague. I'm sure to succeed.
What can I do for you?
Hi, I need you to make stuff. Let's talk upgrades. Let's just do everything. Pistol upgrades. Ooh, but I can't do that. Reload. By Piero. And now that is where I'm going to leave it. Sorry that today has been quite a reading session for us all. So, I understand if you guys don't want to leave a like on this video, but, you know, it's very helpful to me. And, thank you. We will start right back up again tomorrow with more gameplay for you guys on Dishonored, and then we'll just head straight into Dishonored 2. I'm sorry for all the reading. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're new, thank you for watching. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.